Hi friends, and welcome back to Lemon Tree Corner. I am Heather, and if you're new here, I make project bags and purses. I have a handmade business called Lemon Tree Corner. And if you're not new here, welcome back. It's great to have you. We are getting close to 2,000 subscribers, so I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, or share one of my videos with somebody you know who might be interested in becoming a subscriber. So I would love to get to 2,000 sometime soon, and we'll be doing a special giveaway bag whenever we hit 2,000. So we'll see when that happens. This week in the studio, we are trying a new pattern again. So I hope we have luck with this one because it's one I've always wanted to try. We are going to try making a Japanese knot bag. So these are really cool. The one handle is shorter than the other, and the long handle goes through the short handle, and that's how you carry the bag. So very fun, and we are going to make a prototype first. So we've got this lovely fabric, beautiful fabric with some mushrooms and some leaves, and then this is going to be the lining fabric. So very pretty. So this is going to be our prototype. I think we're going to make them medium. It seems to be a good size. Problem with this is that the knot bag, the drawstring bag, and the zipper bag are all kind of the same size, like a 2 to 3 skein project size. And yeah, I don't know how much variety I want in that one size. But I would like to try the smaller Japanese knot bag also for our scraps. So we have we will have lots of leftover fabrics by the time we're done making all the bags for the October show. And instead of just making the sock pyramid pouches, I would like to make the smaller version of the knot bag and see if that'll work, kind of do half and half, because the small knot bag is about a sock set size. So it would be perfect for a sock bag or like a 1 skein project bag. So we'll give that a shot too, but we'll start off with the medium one. I have 2 or 3 fabric choices for the knot bag, so we can try that. So we're going to make the prototype first and see how we get on, and then we can make the other ones after we're done with that. But we have quite a time here. It's Sunday of my really long weekend, and then I have all next weekend and 4th of July weekend, because I get the Thursday off. We're going down to San Diego on the 4th of July, and then I have, well, we gotta pack and everything for our trip too. So I don't have like a ton of time that weekend. I've kind of given myself that weekend off, but I do have all day Thursday that we could cut out some more bags or make some more bags if we like this. So we've got quite a chunk of time here over the next week or two, you know, weeknights and stuff, that I can work on this. So I'm hoping to accomplish this prototype, and if we like it, maybe make 2 more. So that is the goal. We also are going to go to the used bookstore with my sister. We had this cute little used bookstore in town that I've never been in. So I want to do that, get some books for the trip, because my husband really enjoyed the last trip we took where we didn't do much. So we are going to sit by the lake and relax, and I would like to have a book or 2 to read when we do that. So we're going to go to the bookstore, pick out some books, have lunch, hand off my gift bag to my sister. So you will have seen that finished bag already. And yeah, just start thinking about the trip and what we're going to do and what we're going to need. Like I gotta pack, you know, all the stuff for the trip, so I got to start making a list for that and plan that out. I got to decide if we want more fish. I had the 3 cute gourami fish all go, and I think that's because when I got the plecostomus, I had to feed them more because the plecostomus needed to eat, and they kind of ate too much and died. So I really don't know what to do with the tank. I've still got the original 3 gray tetras, and now the plecostomus is doing very well. So I just have to see if I can get some other fish that are gonna play nicely with the others. But I don't know if I want to do that before or after vacation at this point, because having fish is stressful. And Oreo is recovering nicely. We also have 2 crochet projects that we're going to try starting before the trip. We finished the other ones, so I'm going to need something to do on the plane and during the trip. So I have 2 sweater projects actually that we're going to try, so I will share that with you in this video as well. And yeah, so if that sounds good to you, go ahead and grab yourselves a water or a cool beverage, curl up, and let's try a new bag. So we're going to start off by cutting out our pattern pieces. I like to use my other little cutting mat for this, so I don't dig deep X-Acto blade lines into my sewing or cutting mat. Do that, so just overlap them. I cut a 1/4 of an inch off one end and then all the way on the other. Oh, that's interesting. That cut off part of the circle when I printed it. Well, that's very interesting. I'm gonna have to figure out that curve. I guess that didn't fit all the way on my printer. Medium size to start with for our prototype, and it's quite big. This went off the edge of the paper, so I'm really not sure if that's as long as it's supposed to be. If I was smart, I would figure out the ratio between that and this one. I mean, it looks comparable, right? Or 8. I think that's good. I guess we will find out. That sounds about right. You're probably screaming at me right now. Screaming at the TV right now. I forgot to cut the notches, so there's notches to help us line up our pattern pieces. So I'm excited I feel like we're ahead of the game. I just don't know if I want to do the other pattern. So I downloaded this drawstring pouch. It's one of those where it's a big giant circle and it gathers up. I just don't know if I would want to do this year. Maybe this would be more of a good holiday present idea. It obviously isn't cutesy, so it doesn't fill the niche that the piggy would. So that's kind of my only problem with doing that, is that it's still not going to fill the niche, and it's just going to take up more time. So I'm not sure what I want to do about that. But that is a problem for future Heather. I would like to try making them, just maybe not for this show. Maybe we make those after October when we have some time on our hands. So since this is directional, I am going to want to cut it directionally. Sorry if you can hear the water in the background. We just changed the fish tank water. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down a little bit at the neckline, what she's calling the armholes and the neckline, just because I don't really want this in the seam that we're sewing with the lining of the bag. So the way we're sewing this together is we're sewing these separately, the lining and the exterior at the top and all the way from notch to notch around the bottom. So I'm going to kind of cut away the excess from both of those. I'm going to cut a little bit more just to get that whole notch there, just because I'm afraid I will need to do more. And then I'm going to cut around what she calls the neckline here as well, just to keep that out of the seam. So we're going to sew a bit of these on their own and then put them together and sew the rest around. So I really just want to take that bulk out of the seam where we have to sew the lining and the exterior together. And I'm hoping that's going to be enough. This bag looks pretty easy, except for the way we're sewing it together is a little involved, but that's okay. Everything else looks pretty easy. The only thing to remember is that when we cut our SF101 and our Fusible Fleece, that this is not the same piece. So you want to do, you know, right side to right side or wrong side to wrong side when you cut that, so that you can iron it to each piece, because they're mirror image. So you just have to remember that. Oh, and I was able to order my old iron, which is wonderful. So finally, about 10 pages into my Amazon search, I found my old iron, which they told me was no longer available the first time I tried to order it again. So I don't know what happened there. Don't know, but I do have my old iron back. So I'm just waiting for that to show up in the mail. And see, it's out of the seam there, if you can see that. Okay, so we're going to be sewing these together. I just want to line them up like so, and a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so the ham just helps you get those curves. Oh, we're not going to be able to fit it in there. I think I'll use my sleeve thing for this part. I think this would be an issue when we do the smaller one, to be able to get in here and press this open is going to be very difficult. Okay, so slide that in there, and then we can open it up and press it. You don't have to do this step. I'm just assuming it's going to make it easier in the end to line these up nicer. And they're actually going to have us turn these around and kind of press the edges in instead of sewing them together. I'm also going to try not putting any nails on. It's been a long time. I need to let them breathe. So I think I'm just going to put like a clear strengthening coat on there, and then I won't have to worry about my nails on vacation or anything. We're going to be, you know, out in the wilderness, so I don't want to worry about breaking anything or having to deal with that on vacation. Okay, now comes the fun part. We've got to piece these together. So we're going to stick the lining inside the exterior. We're going to line everything up. So I'm glad I sewed it a little shorter, only I didn't do that on the handles. So the handles should line up exactly, and then the bottom should be a little bit shorter. So we're going to line these up exactly. Hold that up a little bit, and then we're going to go around what she calls the neck hole, which is very appropriate, and we are going to pin that all the way around in the exact same spot, and then sew the neckline together. And then it's the armholes we're going to have to do once it's turned right side out. And then we've got to like turn these in and line them up. So that'll be the hard part, is getting these lined up correctly. But other than that, I think it'll work out well. It's just this part is going to be difficult to get that lining tucked in far enough. Okay, let's give it a shot. Okay, so I think we got it figured out for our vacation knitting. I'm going to be making the Kia cardigan. I have this beautiful green yarn that I bought. For some reason I bought 10 skeins of it to make a sweater. I think I had a sweater in mind, but I don't remember what it was. So this is the Ultra Alpaca Barocco yarn, and it is 50% focus, 50% superfine alpaca, and 50% Peruvian wool. It's this beautiful shade of like green with a little bit of yellow mixed in there. So we're going to be making this. This is what it looks like. It's got these beautiful little clusters and pockets and ribbing, and it takes 9 balls of yarn for the size that I need, so that's good. Here it is in its entirety, and there's a full tutorial, so I'm excited to have a full tutorial for this. So we are going to just be winding up the yarn, and I'm only going to take 2 skeins with me for vacation because I'm probably not going to get that far. But we also figured out what we're doing with the cranberry yarn, so let's take a look at that. Okay, so I was going to make the Cleopatra shawl, but then I found out she's got a Cleopatra cardigan, which is perfect. So it's not really a pattern for that, but we're using the same design as the shawl. So it's the same pattern, but we're just going up and over the shoulder. So it's one big long row like that. And she showed me how to determine what size. So we're all ready to go. Here is my sample with the 4mm hook, which I think is going to work good with this yarn. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the lightest color. So this stripe closest to the chest is going to be the lightest color, and then I can get 6 repeats to the side, and then we'll have 2 of those. So we'll be going from lightest to darkest, and then same thing with the sleeve, it'll be darkest to lightest. So I think that's going to work out good. The only problem is I pretty much would have to take all 6 balls with me on vacation. So I think this is going to become my new work/travel project, but for the actual trip, I'm going to take the green yarn project because it's just going to be easier to carry on the plane with me, and it won't be as much stuff for me to take with me on vacation. Okay, that was quite fiddly. This long one's not too bad, but this one, trying to get that around the machine, even the other direction, isn't great. And I definitely have raw edges in these corners, and I don't know what I would do about that. So let's try putting some yarn in here and see how we like it. We can easily fit 3 balls of yarn in there, and then you would just put this through here, make a handle, and hold it like that. I don't know how I feel about this as a pattern, just because I don't know that I could do it well enough to sell it. I would definitely leave the interfacing, the fleece out of the handle. There's no reason for that. I basically could have just fleeced up to this edge, or a little under that edge, and I would have been fine. Or up to here maybe, because these are a little, you want them to be a little more malleable than that. They're a little stiff. So I feel like if you had just had it up to here, that would have been fine. I didn't need it all the way up there, but these handles are a big pain. So I'm going to put some fray check on here, and this might just become my bag at this point. I don't know that I want to make the other 2 just because of this right here. I feel like I can't really sell these if they're going to have these raw edges. That's the scariest thing to me, is selling something with raw edges and having it slowly fall apart on somebody who paid good money for the bag. So I think it's not a fail because this is beautiful. I love this fabric, and this is my new bag, so it's not a complete fail because I get to keep this one, but it's not something I'm going to be making for other people. So I'm going to give this a C+ because it's not bad. I think this size, the larger size, would obviously be way easier to make. I can't imagine making anything smaller than that on my machine. So that's a no for me. So I'm not sure what we're doing next. The original plan was to start making the project bags, so I might be able to just go ahead and jump into the Harry Potter fabric and make myself a project bag, which I don't really need to take on vacation at this point. I can just make it for myself since we have the rest of the video, or we can start on this guy. The only problem with this guy is I either have to make a buttonhole on the outside where the drawstring's gonna go in, because there's no actual drawstring channel. We're just cutting a hole in the fabric. So I would either fray check that, which we've already established that I don't want to do and sell, or I'd have to make a buttonhole. So I'm not sure about this one, but we can try that in a future episode. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I think we will leave this here, and You do have to, oh, let me give you an update on the sweater. Okay, so the sweater is coming along nicely. We have our 2 panels started. I'm starting with the lightest color towards the chest and going out from there. The only problem is I wanted to make both to see how much yarn I had left. This is not going to be enough yarn to make the sleeves. Well, first I've got to mattress stitch the 2 pieces together in this particular color. And then I wanted to make the sleeves, but I'd have to do a repeat on both sleeves. And I'd have to get like 2 repeats out of this, at least 2. And that would be for a short sleeve. So what I'm going to try and do is order this one is the darkest one. And that's going to be on the edge where the sleeves are. I went online. They do have the Dewy Decay, but these are all part of a set and they don't tell you what exact colors they are. The darkest one I could find that was still Dewy Decay because I want to keep it the same fabric, the same fiber content, is Oxblood. So I'm not sure. I'm taking a gamble here with the Oxblood if it's going to match this one or not. So I might wait because it might be this color. So, not sure. They're both very similar. So if I had to switch over to the sleeves and do all the sleeves in one color, that might work out just fine. So, not sure what to do there yet. I decided to go ahead and make the Hogwarts bag for myself with the blue color, but since I'm already cutting these out, I'm going to go ahead and cut one out. With the Hufflepuff color. So I cut the exterior to focus on those 2 houses. So I purposely cut it out. I had enough left over without cutting into my new 2-yard piece. So I'm just going to focus on that. And we'll get these all cut out. And yeah, we'll just make these bags in the meantime. No point in no point in sitting around for a weekend and a half when I could be working on these bags. So that's what I'm going to do. So we've got our Ravenclaw bag, which is mine. I think even though this is the Hufflepuff color, it's a really good contrast. I think I'd like to do this one, but I need to order more twill tape. So I don't have enough of this. Plus I've got more of those bags coming up. So I should probably just place an order for all the different colors of twill tape now. This one, I might do purple or blue, since that's a nice contrast also. I would do green, but that's Slytherin. I don't want Slytherin in my bag. I don't know if the Hufflepuff person would want Slytherin in their bag either. I was thinking of making a Slytherin one. I've got so much of this fabric that I guess I could just make a bunch of little sock bags. But I was thinking of making one of the bucket bags or something else in this because it's just, I love this fabric. It's so pretty. Hey friends, so that's it for this week. Let's take a look at what we accomplished. We made our Japanese knot bag, which goes through like that. Very cool. I don't think it needed the fleece. In fact, the fleece probably made this whole part more difficult for me. So I've got raw edges here that I don't know how to fix in the future. I could have just stopped the fleece like here, and then the handles wouldn't be as bulky. They would pull through easier. So if we do try this again, we will try to cut down the Fusible Fleece so that it's not in the handles at all. It's not in this part at all, and maybe that would help us with that part. But this is such a tight thing to get through my machine. So I don't know that we'll be making these in the future, but I will have one for myself. And since that didn't work out, we had time to make 2 other bags. So I went ahead and made my Hogwarts bag for myself. Very cute. I have to reorder the twill tape. I want to use the yellow and I didn't have enough. So this is where we're at with this. So I will have to wait for the twill tape to come in the mail. And we also made the Hufflepuff one. So this one will be for sale. And yeah, I think I'm going to use the blue twill tape in this. I just haven't done it yet and I want to move on. So we will finish the drawstring for that and then get that in the shop. Unfortunately, she was out of a lot of the colors that she normally has because I wanted to go ahead and restock all of the twill tape colors for the next round of bags that we're doing, because we're going to be doing more drawstring bags later, and then next week we're going to be making the drawstring bucket bag. So same designer, Can Do Crafts, but it's a bucket bag instead. So we will be working on that next week. I think this is coming out before the vacation video, so next week you will have the vacation video. You can virtually come on vacation with me. And then the week after that, we will get back into the sewing with the bucket bag. So I hope you join me for that. Hope you're having a great week, and see you back here next week. Love you, friends. Bye.